Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into Stefan Kornelius's biography, Angela Merkel, the Chancellor and Her World, to try and understand one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, one of the most mysterious leaders of our time. So, right from the start, the book hits us with this central puzzle. How did a quiet physicist from East Germany climb her way up to become, really, the leader of Europe? The author's answer? You have to look at where she came from. And the book that tries to crack this puzzle is this one right here, published back in 2013. Now, it's an authorized biography, which means it gives us this incredible inside look into the experiences that really shaped her. It's our key to decoding the woman who would go on to define a whole era of European politics. To really solve the Merkel mystery, the book argues we have to start right here. We're talking about her first 35 years living behind the Iron Curtain in what was called the German Democratic Republic, or GDR. And this isn't just some backstory, okay? This is the core of her political DNA. Think of these years as her basic programming, her operating system. And what's so important to get is that when the Berlin Wall came down in 1989, Merkel wasn't some young kid. She was 35 years old. She was already an accomplished quantum chemist who'd spent her entire adult life learning how to survive in the East German system. And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures her relationship with that state. It wasn't about love or loyalty, it was about pragmatic adaptation. She figured out how to work within this really restrictive system, how to excel in it, but she never, ever truly identified with it. That split is key to understanding everything that comes next. So, what happens when you grow up under constant surveillance with limited freedom? Well, you develop a very specific set of skills. You learn to be cautious. You learn to be suspicious of big, loud promises and grand ideologies. And you learn to prefer slow, careful, step-by-step progress. Her past wasn't just a story. It was the very toolbox she used to govern Germany. Now, this upbringing didn't just shape her worldview, it shaped her actual methods. You see, Merkel was never a natural politician. She was a scientist, a quantum chemist, to be exact. And she brought that scientific mind into the messy, chaotic world of politics. She didn't leave her training behind. She used it as a weapon. And that brings up a really fascinating question the book gets into, right? How does a quantum chemist deal with a world driven by ego, emotion, and just pure chaos? Well, for Merkel, it was all about stripping a problem down to its most basic, fundamental parts. This right here was her favorite law of physics, and she applied it to everything. There is no depth without mass. What does that mean? It means you can't have a deep, real understanding of an issue until you've gathered a critical mass of facts, of data, of substance. No shortcuts, no just going with your gut, only rigorous analysis. And all of this led to her famous methodical process. Analyze the problem, observe everything, wait and let things play out. Make a small, cautious decision, and then, this is the important part, reevaluate and start the process all over again. Yeah, it drove other, more impulsive leaders absolutely crazy. They called it indecisive. But in a crisis, that steady, careful approach was her greatest strength. Okay, so you have this unique leader with this very specific method. Now, let's throw her into the fire. Her whole approach was put to the ultimate test during the constant crises of the 2010s, especially the Eurozone crisis, which the book really presents as the defining moment of her career. And during that crisis, wow, she became a deeply polarizing figure. On one side, critics said she was too slow, that her demands for austerity were cruel. They called her a disciplinarian. But her supporters saw a calm, steady hand. They said she was enforcing necessary discipline to save the entire system, calling her a stabilizer. She was seen as both a villain and a savior at the exact same time. And if you really want to know why she was willing to play that tough role, this quote tells you everything you need to know. Her experience in the failing East German state gave her this deep, almost physical fear of systems collapsing. For her, protecting the stability of the entire European project was the absolute #1 priority, no matter the political cost. Okay, so now that we understand her past and her methods, what's our final take on Cornelius's biography? Does it actually solve the Merkel mystery? Well, the book's core argument is just incredibly powerful and honestly totally convincing.
Her leadership style wasn't a mystery at all. It was the direct result of her scientific mind meeting her life experience in a failed state. And once you get that, all of her big decisions start to make a whole lot more sense.
The biography also does a fantastic job of showing her human side, which she protected fiercely. This quote reveals a leader who knew exactly how draining power could be. She never let the job totally consume her, and she always had a clear idea of a life after politics. A lesson, frankly, that a lot of leaders never seem to learn.
So, here's our final breakdown. The book's greatest strength is the incredible insight it gives into her formative years. It's just indispensable. But, and this is a big but, because it's an authorized biography, it can feel a little soft at times. It doesn't dig as deeply into the criticism or the real human cost of some of her policies. But for its deep analysis and for giving us the essential key to solving the Merkel mystery, we are giving Angela Merkel, the Chancellor, and her world a final grade of 8 out of 10. It's truly essential reading if you want to understand modern Europe.
And if this topic fascinated you and you want to keep exploring, we've got a couple of recommendations. Check out Charles Moore's biography of Margaret Thatcher for another look at a powerful, controversial female leader. Or, for the bigger picture, try Tipton's History of Modern Germany to understand the country she led.
And that's our breakdown of the Merkel mystery. For more explainers that decode the big ideas and the leaders shaping our world, you know what to do. Make sure to follow and subscribe. Thanks for joining us.